안녕하세요. 김원장 인사이트입니다. 오늘은 오랫동안 테슬라 투자자로 알려진 론 바론이 11월 16일 CNBC와 인터뷰가 예정되어 있어 투자자들이 관심이 굉장히 많았었는데요. 여기에서 어떤 얘기를 하셨는지 요약 설명해드리고 영상을 함께 보도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 론 바론이 운영하고 있는 베런 파트너스 펀드는 1991년 설립되어 2024년까지 32년간 연평균 수익률이 거의 15%에 달했으며, 이는 같은 기간에 S&P 500 평균 수익률보다 거의 50%가 높았습니다. 론 바론은 7개월 전에 CNBC에 출연하여 테슬라가 상당히 상승할 것이다, 지금은 바닥이라고 강조했는데 테슬라 주가는 그 후로 100% 상승했습니다. 그 인터뷰 영상도 당시에 워렌TV에 올렸었습니다. 지금부터 론 바론의 인터뷰 영상을 요약 설명드리겠습니다. 이 인터뷰에서 론 바론은 테슬라와 스페이스X에 대한 그의 투자 전략과 일론 머스크와의 관계, 그리고 미국 정치에 대한 그의 생각을 공유했습니다. 먼저 론 바론은 테슬라와 스페이스X가 그의 주요 투자 포트폴리오에서 중요한 비중을 차지하고 있다고 밝혔습니다. 이 두 회사는 베런 펀드 자산의 약 15%를 차지하고 있으며, 그중 10%는 테슬라에, 5%는 스페이스X에 투자하고 있다고 합니다. 론 바론은 이 두 회사가 미래의 성장 가능성에 큰 영향을 미칠 것으로 보고 있습니다. 론 바론은 일론 머스크와 오랜 친구이자 투자자로서의 관계를 강조했습니다. 그에 따르면 일론은 매우 바쁜 일정에도 불구하고 모든 회의에 참석하며 그는 항상 사업을 더 효율적으로 운영하려고 노력을 기울이고 있다고 합니다. 론 바론은 일론 머스크의 능력과 리더십을 매우 높게 평가하고 있습니다. 또한 론 바론은 정치적 입장에 대해서도 언급했습니다. 그는 더 이상 민주당원이라고 느끼지 않고 있으며 현재는 독립적인 성향을 가지고 있다고 말했습니다. 그가 그렇게 말하는 이유는 민주당의 정책 중 반기업적이고 반성장적인 부분에 동의하지 않기 때문입니다. 그는 사업의 성장을 위한 정책을 지지하며 이러한 정책들이 미국 경제에 긍정적인 영향을 미친다고 믿고 있습니다. 인터뷰에서 론 바론은 또한 정부의 효율성 문제를 언급했습니다. 특히 그는 일론 머스크가 정부 규제를 간소화하고 비효율적인 비용 가산 계약을 없애는 등 변화를 이끌어낼 것이라고 기대하고 있습니다. 그는 일론 머스크가 미국 정부의 관료주의를 해결하고 더 나은 정책을 제시할 수 있는 인물이라고 확신하고 있습니다. 오늘의 인터뷰는 론 바론의 투자 철학과 일론 머스크와의 관계, 그리고 정치적 견해를 깊이 있게 다루었습니다. 론 바론의 통찰력 있는 의견과 일론 머스크의 미래 비전에 대한 그의 기대를 들을 수 있었습니다. 지금부터 영상을 함께 보시겠습니다.
Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is going to be weighing in on Tesla, Elon Musk's new role in the Trump administration, and much, much more. Joining us right now in an exclusive interview live from the 31st Annual Barron Conference is billionaire investor Ron Barron. Of course, he is Barron Capital's chairman and CEO. And Ron, we've been coming to this conference with you for years. We always look forward to it. This is the 31st annual conference. But this year, I have to say, the news cycle has kind of moved in such a way that we have a lot to talk about. And Elon Musk is probably the most interesting person on the planet outside of Donald Trump at this point. He is somebody everybody is watching from everywhere. You are a longtime investor. You're a longtime friend of his. And I just wonder what you think as you are watching all of this, because Tesla and SpaceX are your two biggest investments in the Barron funds. This has been a bit of a whirlwind.
Those two investments represent about 15% of our assets, about 10% for Tesla, 5% for SpaceX. I watched this with puzzlement, everything that's happening, but I think that one element that is going to be important for Elon is that he will be able to, he understands where there's unusual spending that's much greater than it should be, and how that can be corrected. Pretty easy, actually. You have a lot of cost-plus contracts, so they can be changed to the way contracts work for SpaceX, where they take the risk instead of the government. So cost-plus contracts are anathema to operating.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Anathema. What's the word? They're a bad thing. Cost-plus contracts don't work very well for the person who's contracting.
I'm sorry, Ron. I can't hear anything you're saying. I'm going to move a little closer. I know this is going to screw everything up, but you stay where you are. I'm moving closer. Okay.
Oh, I like being closer to you.
So say that again.
Okay, so if you have a cost-plus contract, what that is that you agree to do services for the government. They give you a price, and then you go out there and find a lot of subcontractors to do this work for you. The subcontractors, the longer they take and the more they cost, the better it is for you, because you're getting 12% off the top as pure profit. Just as a prime contractor, you want things to cost more. So for example, the government was sending a program. They want to send people back and forth to the ISS, International Space Station. So they give 2 contracts, I guess about 10 years ago. One to Boeing for $4.3 billion. A year later to SpaceX for $2.1 billion. And SpaceX has since been back and forth 40 times. Boeing got there once and they couldn't get their guys back.
Right.
So we had to go rescue them. And that contract now has cost $18 billion. It's going to cost $98 billion or $88 billion. It's supposed to cost 11. And therefore, they benefit by something taking longer and costing more. SpaceX, if something goes wrong on a Friday afternoon at 4:30, people don't go home till it's fixed. The other places, 4:30, let's get out of here. And they don't care because it's the government's money, not theirs.
So your point is that
get rid of cost-plus contracts.
The efficiency that he puts in his businesses, you think he's going to put into Washington now
Yes,
too?
and get rid of cost-plus contracts.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two is that if you want to go back and forth, you want to go to Mars and you get 1 million people up there, you got to launch regularly in your sites regularly, like a lot of times every day. And if you have to go get permits every time you launch, airplanes don't have to get permits every time they launch, every time they take off. If you have to do that, that really slows you down. You can't do it. So basically, there has to be change in regulations also. So there have to be more reasonable regulations than are in place right now, and you have to have different, this cost-plus contract stuff has to go.
So you've been a longtime Democrat. You've been pretty outspoken about that, but you're also a longtime supporter of Elon Musk's. What do you think of the election results and the government that we're going to be facing?
I think that he had similar views to mine. I don't feel like I'm a Democrat anymore, but he had similar views to mine, and for a long time. But I think that the Democratic Party has been taken over by unions, teachers unions, UAW. I mean, one of the things that was really interesting is that they had an EV summit at the White House. Everyone's been talking about this a year or two ago, and in that period, they had the leading people for electric cars were invited to the White House to meet with President Biden. And Musk was invited initially and then disinvited. And the person who was praised for leading the way and in the conversion was Mary Barra. I love Mary Barra, but Mary Barra in that quarter did 29 cars, 29 electric cars. We did 300,000. And she was the one who was invited, and she was the one who was praised as the leader in this conversion from gasoline cars to electric cars. So that's because the UAW says, I don't want Elon Musk in the White House. And so it's a lot of these interested parties that say that, no, it doesn't work for me to have someone who's not union. The reason UAW has been unsuccessful unionizing Tesla's plants is because the people in Tesla's plants are becoming wealthy because they're shareholders in Tesla stock. Same thing for SpaceX. So you can't unionize people if they're doing great where they are. Last year there were 5.8 million people. 5.8 million people applied for jobs at Tesla and SpaceX for 30,000 jobs. 5.8 million people for 30,000 jobs. Tesla might have 150,000 people and SpaceX probably 15,000, but they had 5.8 million. They get the best people. They get the best people who do the best. And how do you take people like that and make them into a union where they're just taking something off the top and it's a job that's not that interesting?
When did you decide that you were no longer really a Democrat? Has that been over the last several years?
A lot of policies they have. I'm an independent. A lot of policies that they have I don't agree with.
Just anti-business policies, anti-growth policies? What are the...
Anti-Israel policies.
Anti-Israel policies, yeah.
So I don't really understand where that came from. The inclusion policies. I think that if someone is really talented and work really hard, they should get the benefit from that. And the policies of Democrats, if someone's not doing well, they want to say, okay, we'll lift you up. I'm fine about giving people opportunity. I'm not fine about taking something from someone who's worked really hard to achieve what they have and taking it from them and giving it to someone else.
Okay, you are an investor. Your top two holdings are Tesla and SpaceX. You also have a holding in X.com. And Elon's got a pretty large role in this new incoming Trump administration. Do you worry at all as an investor that that's going to take more of his time, or do you think his companies will benefit because he's able to be there?
This is an advisory role, so I don't think, right now he's doing a lot of advising. I don't know how active he is in choosing the people who are being placed in these roles. But he was supposed to come. We had a funny bit planned. I was telling you about this before. And we were initially going to do a Saturday Night Live open.
Here at the Barron Investment Conference today.
Yeah. And then I told him about this. He said, well, why don't we do 30 minutes about talking about the future instead? I said, okay, great. And then they called yesterday and said he can't do it. He's in Mar-a-Lago. He can't arrange it. Can't leave. Can't come in. Can't get the Jeep.
So he's actively involved. We've heard the reports about this, but you've heard it too.
The people in SpaceX told me that he doesn't miss any meetings. Okay. So he comes to these meetings. Same thing with Tesla. I don't understand how he's able to do all this.
Yeah, there doesn't seem like there's enough hours in the day.
No, it's amazing what he does.
오늘 인터뷰에서 테슬라에 대해 얼마나 많이 상승할지와 같은 구체적인 의견을 듣고 싶었는데 그런 얘기는 없었습니다. 하지만 일론 머스크가 트럼프 행정부에서 어떤 일을 해야 하며 어떤 문제가 있는지 등에 대해 조목조목 알아듣기 쉽게 설명했습니다. 결국 비용 가산 계산을 예를 들면서 이런 불합리한 계약을 폐지하고 각종 규제를 폐지한다면 테슬라 주가와 스페이스X 역시 크게 성장할 것이라는 얘기였습니다. 이상 김원장의 인사이트를 마치겠습니다.